We all love crocodiles, at least from a distance we do, because the last thing you want to do is get too close to one of these huge reptiles who are known throughout the world for their incredible strength and power, as well as a huge number of very sharp teeth. These are some of the greatest predators of all time, and they have more or less been around since the dinosaurs were here, which goes to show just how successful they are and how easily they can adapt. As long as there's a murky pool and some other thirsty animals around, then crocodiles will always have enough to eat. And they love to eat, some of them more than others it seems, and these crocs have grown to huge sizes. From the saltwater giant to the Sri Lankan croc, who got himself stuck because of his size, here's 15 abnormally large crocodiles that actually exist. Number 15. Tawi Tawi Crocodile. On September 9th, 2017, a truly enormous saltwater crocodile was picked up by some fishermen on the island of Tawi Tawi in the Philippines. A few days earlier, one of the fishermen had already spotted something unusual in the water, but he mistook it for a log, which is all part of the crocodile's A-game, you see. Crocs look like logs. You go to check out the log eats ya. Luckily, this fisherman decided to keep his distance, and a few days later, the log reappeared. Only this time, it was pretty obvious it was not a log, but a 17-foot-long saltwater crocodile. Even by croc standards, the saltwater croc is terrifying. They are the biggest crocodiles and have the most powerful bite of any animal on Earth. They are incredible swimmers and have even been known to take on great white sharks and win. So the Filipino authorities launched an operation to capture the giant croc and set him free somewhere else. Okay, this big salty didn't want to go and destroyed an entire boat as well as plenty of nets used to try to capture him, while generally being very aggressive and showing that he wasn't afraid of humans at all. Killing crocodiles is a serious crime in the Philippines, but they still need to be moved away from human habitation, and in the end, this giant was set free in a new spot with fewer troublemaking opportunities. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Time for the rare topic. We received this image from one viewer who told us she had been invited to a secret zoo in the mysterious lands of Mongolia. And in that zoo they had one prized possession, which is this almighty crocodile known as Genghis. This is supposed to be one of the biggest crocodiles in the world, and as you can see, any visitor to this secret zoo are desperate to get a look at him. Luckily, there's some strong fencing around the huge croc, as you don't want this thing running wild. Many people have wondered how Mongolia has managed to remain an independent democracy and NATO member while sandwiched between China and Russia. Well, some have speculated that even the Russians and Chinese don't want to risk invading a country which is home to the mighty Genghis, biggest crocodile of all time. Do you think this crocodile is Mongolia's secret weapon? As always, comment down below with the hashtag #RareTopic and let us know your opinion in relation to what we just showed on screen. Let's move on to the next one. Number 14. Matara Crocodile. Back in 2016, some local Sri Lankans had a terrifying visitor, an 18-foot-long crocodile which weighed more than 1.5 tons. This giant showed up in the town of Matara after it slipped out of a nearby river in search of food. The croc's foraging didn't end up going too well, as he found himself stuck in one of Matara's water canals. Maybe this was a sign that this particular croc needed to cut back on the snack breaks and keep on swimming. Man versus crocodile has been a pretty long-running conflict in Sri Lanka, as the Sri Lankan people find themselves stuck on an island populated with deadly crocs. But in this case, they showed that they can also work with crocodiles to help them out when they find themselves stuck. Wildlife authorities struggled for a long time to get the croc unstuck and back in the water where he belongs. But they also noted that this was the biggest crocodile any of them had ever seen on Sri Lanka. A JBC digger, a tractor, the local police, and a lot of local people showed up to help out. And several hours later, the job was finally done. Number 13. Jaws 3. You know about Jaws, and also about Jaws 2, and probably even about Jaws 3D and Jaws the Revenge, although if you made it all the way through those last two movies, you deserve some kind of reward. Boy, were they bad. But maybe you noticed that there was no actual Jaws 3. That might be because Jaws 3 is not a movie, and not even a shark, but in fact a crocodile from India. This huge toothy monster lives at Madras Crocodile Bank Trust and Center for Herpetology, and is one of the star attractions. The research station is located 29 miles south of the city of Chennai in the state of Tamil Nadu. It was founded in 1976 by herpetologist Romulus Whittaker and his wife, Zai Whittaker. In all those years, the station has never seen a croc as big as Jaws 3, who measures in excess of 17 feet. In fact, Jaws here is believed to be the largest crocodile in captivity in the whole of Southern Asia. So it's no surprise to discover that people are lining up day and night to get a look at this enormous reptile with the snappy name. Number 12. Port Moresby Crocodile. Out in Port Moresby, which is Papua New Guinea's capital city, there is a spot known as Adventure Park, which has a whole lot of wild animals for visitors to get up close with. It also has a man who has been described as Papua New Guinea's Crocodile Dundee, a Mr. Farapo Sayer. One quote about Farapo goes, "Mr. Sayer is the only person who can ride a crocodile like riding a horse and kiss a crocodile like kissing a wallaby." Well, if that last part doesn't set your curiosity burning, then I don't know what will. In any case, Farapo is a kind of crocodile whisperer and is able to hang out with them and even ride around on their backs without them seeming to mind at all. He is mute and was previously attacked by crocodiles before deciding to get to know his attackers and try to communicate with them in his own special way without words. It seems to work, and he's now been more or less accepted by the park's giant crocs as one of their own. It also happens that Farapo is the guy who feeds the crocodiles, so maybe the crocs are just smart enough to reason that if they eat them, then they might not get any more food in the future. Number 11. Gomek. Gomek was a truly monstrous saltwater croc. He was captured in Papua New Guinea back in 1985 by a crocodile hunter named George Craig, who then sold Gomek on to Terry and Arthur Jones, who moved Gomek to a place in Ocala, Florida, before then being sold on in 1990 to the St. Augustine Alligator Farm Zoological Park. Also in Florida. Rumor has it a few of the gators from nearby moved out, complaining that the neighborhood was getting a little tough for them. In spite of his huge size, Gomek became famous for how chilled he was around humans. People visiting the park could feed Gomek from a distance of just 3 feet, which would normally mean that you would be feeding the crocodile in a more direct way than you had just imagined. He was just under 18 feet long and weighed 1,900 pounds. But this gentle giant was known to be one of the largest and tamest crocodiles ever captured. He passed away in 1997 at a grand old age, believed to be around 80 years old. His enclosure is home to 2 more crocs, and a small tribute to Gomek has been erected there. His enclosure is home to 2 more crocs, and a small tribute to Gomek has been erected there. Number 10. Tripod. Matt Wright is the star of Monster Croc Wrangler, a popular show on National Geographic, and as a professional croc wrangler, it comes as no surprise to learn that Matt has a pet croc all of his own, and his croc, known as Tripod, is no ordinary crocodile. It's a huge saltwater crocodile that's more than 80 years old and only has 3 legs. But that doesn't bother Matt, nor does it seem to bother Tripod. Crocodiles are known for their ability to carry on as normal even after suffering serious injuries. But how does Matt avoid ending up in the same situation as Tripod, with one of his legs in his pet's stomach for lunch? Well, first up, he feeds Tripod something more tasty than himself, like half a boar for example, but he also explains crocodile behavior. They're an easy animal to work with. They've got a small brain. They're hunters and scavengers, motivated only by food, fighting, breeding, and keeping warm. There's nothing really complicated. They're a bit like robots. Matt is part of the movement which has saved the crocodile from extinction in Australia, and he hopes more people will learn to treat them with respect as well as caution. Number 9. Cassius. The resurgence of the Australian saltwater crocodile population from around 4,000 back in the 1950s to 150,000 or more today has also meant that records are constantly being broken when it comes to finding the very biggest one. However, it will take something pretty special to dislodge the current world record holder for the largest crocodile in captivity. That title was given by the Guinness Book of Records to Cassius, who was named after the birth name of legendary boxer Muhammad Ali, aka Cassius Clay. And for good reason. When this 18-foot titan was captured in 1987, he had already lost a chunk of his tail and part of a leg from fighting. In fact, he had become such a nuisance, he was locked up for his own good. Legendary croc wrangler George Craig has taken care of him for more than 30 years, and estimates his age as around 110 years old. After all that time in captivity, has Cassius chilled out a little? Not according to Craig, who said that this big bruiser would eat him right away if given the chance. Number 8. Yai. While Cassius might be in the Guinness Book of Records, there are others who have come to dispute his claim to be the biggest of them all. One such claimant lives at the Samet Prakan Crocodile Farm and Zoo in Samet Prakan Province, Thailand. This crocodile farm has more than 100,000 crocodiles in captivity, but there is only one among them who has become an international celebrity, and that is Yai, the unofficial biggest crocodile in the world. According to the park, Yai measures a terrifying 19.8 and weighs in at 2,456 pounds. But it's not only crocodiles that visitors to this park can expect to see, with elephants, lions, tigers, monkeys, great apes, horses, and hippos also on display. The park does have something of a dark side, however, with some accusations of animal mistreatment coming from the National Geographic, and there have also been 3 separate incidents of women choosing to end their own lives by crocodile, which is a pretty intense choice to make, it has to be said. Still, Yai seems to be strong and certainly well fed, hopefully on regular crocodile food. Number 7. Brutus. One of the best-known crocodiles in Australia, and in the entire world, is Brutus. Brutus is lucky enough to be still living in the wild, and the 80-year-old is top of most crocodile tourists' bucket list for things they have to see. The giant Brutus is famous for his ability to leap out of the air and grab large chunks of dead kangaroo, which are held over the side of the tour boat by tour guides. Brutus has seen some action in his long life. And he's yet another croc who has lost a limb and not let it slow him down. It is believed that his front right leg was bitten off in a fight with a shark, but it must have been a seriously brave or stupid shark, as we learned in 2011 when photos of Brutus went viral showing him casually chewing on a bull shark he had caught and killed. And most experts consider bull sharks even more dangerous than great whites. We get a lot of requests about Brutus, said Harry Bowman from Adelaide River Cruises. We get many phone calls. Are you the one who has Brutus? Have we got the right tour to see Brutus? You could say he's a local celebrity. Number 6. King Croc. The Dubai Aquarium has a special event known as the King Croc event, and it's pretty much what it sounds like, an opportunity to meet King Croc himself. When King Croc was merely a prince among crocs, measuring a modest 8 feet in length, he was tagged by local Australian authorities as a potential delinquent croc, one who was bent on destruction and aggression. So they quickly scooped him up and took him to a protected environment in Queensland, Australia. But that was only the beginning of his journey as he began to grow over the following decades, adding 10 feet to his length. Then in 2014, the big croc, now a fully grown adult of 40 years, was shipped out to become the star of the Dubai Aquarium, and his fame has become much greater ever since. He has to be kept away from direct contact with humans and other male crocodiles because he's a pretty bad-tempered croc. But that doesn't mean he's not alone. He lives with Queen Croc, his female companion, who is over 80 years old. He prefers a mature lady and also one covered in hard green skin and with enormous teeth, it seems. Number 5. Dominator. Continuing the story of the mighty Brutus now, and recent reports have stated that the big old croc has shown signs of recent battle wounds. Who could possibly be responsible? Regular visitors to the region on the Adelaide River are sure they know the answer: Dominator. Dominator has also learned the famous trick of leaping out of the water to grab kangaroo meat from humans, but he's got another developing skill. He is almost able to match Brutus in terms of size and power. And these two crocs are neighbors, with their territories right next to one another. Dominator doesn't like Brutus, that's for sure, but we take care to keep them apart. Mr. Bowman said, "These two legendary crocs have learned it's best to steer clear of one another over the years, but sometimes things flare up and blows are exchanged. No one would ever bet against Brutus, but as he begins to age and Dominator becomes more aggressive, the possibility of a new lord of the crocodiles emerging is starting to become a reality. Nothing lasts forever, old Brutus, old buddy, but you sure had a good run." Number 4. Lo Long. Lo Long was kind of the John Dillinger of crocodiles, and you might say that he was mad, bad, and dangerous to know, words once used to describe the poet Lord Byron. Well, we don't know if Lo Long robbed any banks or wrote any poetry, but he had been on the run for some time when he was finally caught in 2011. His crimes? He'd eaten a fisherman and a 12-year-old girl. So yeah, pretty big crimes. Although to a crocodile it's all just food, whether human or pig or otherwise. Anyway, when some experts saw Lo Long, they were amazed at the size of this big salty. So one brave individual decided to grab a measuring tape and see how big he really was. They recorded a length of 20 feet 3 inches, making him the biggest croc ever caught. The 50-year-old Lo Long required the efforts of 100 people to bring him in following a 3-week-long croc hunt in the Philippines. He fought every step of the way, snapping his ropes on 3 occasions, before they finally got a hold of him. It seems Lo Long didn't much enjoy captivity and died pretty soon after he was brought in. Furthermore, an examination of his stomach after the capture showed no sign of human remains, so in the end, poor Lo Long was innocent. Number 3. Akko. Australian Zoo's largest crocodile is a huge boy named Akko, and this croc was originally captured by the master croc hunter Steve Irwin. Every year in Australia there is National Steve Irwin Day on the 15th of November to mark the death of one of the nation's most famous sons, and there's no better way to do this than for members of Steve's old team to gather and hang out with Akko for a bit. This crocodile was very famous for being exceptionally intelligent and cunning, and it took Irwin 2 years to finally track and capture him, which saved Akko's life. Otherwise, farmers were threatening to shoot the crocodile on sight after it had killed livestock. When Irwin finally caught up with Akko, he was taken by surprise, out alone with his dog. He decided to act all the same, but Akko knew just what to do. He death-rolled Irwin's boat, destroying it. Irwin grabbed some of the farmers and got them to help him capture the crocodile, giving them some new insights into crocodile behavior in the process. Number 2. El Nido Crocodile. Rumors have been circulating for a while that it's not safe to swim in the ocean around El Nido in the Philippines, thanks to one croc who has been spotted there and is believed to be even bigger than Lolong. Some people have suggested that the waters are as dangerous as ones in Darwin or Queensland, Australia, which are infested with crocs. Others say that there are not traditionally saltwater crocodiles in that part of the Philippines and that there's nothing to worry about. However, some reports from nearby Palawan suggest that an unfortunate 7-year-old boy was killed by an enormous crocodile. A 14-foot-long croc was found, killed, and opened up, but no human remains were discovered within, meaning that this crocodile was not the guilty one, which is going to be an awkward apology for the poor croc. Others believe there's an even bigger crocodile who is responsible, perhaps one who measures more than 22 feet in length. Number 1. Orinoco Crocodile. Most of the talk about huge crocodiles is concentrated on the massive saltwater crocodile species, but they are not the only ones with a large size. There are certain individuals of the Orinoco species of crocodile which have reported lengths of up to 23 feet. One male spotted many years ago was alleged to have reached this enormous length, but this South American crocodile species is not thought to grow as large today due to environmental pressures. There's no Australia-style crocodile renaissance taking place in South America yet, that's for sure, and numbers are still falling there. The Orinoco crocodile is a freshwater crocodile that lives in Colombia and Venezuela, particularly in the river Orinoco, where it gets its name. It is considered to be among the most endangered species of crocodile, with pollution and deforestation causing massive devastation of its numbers. So if we ever want to see another huge Orinoco crocodile, we'll have to stop them going extinct first. Would you like to feed a crocodile on a crocodile tour? Which was your favorite croc on our list today? Let us know in the comments below. Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time.